Tiara's theory on why I think breast cancer is on the rise or exists in women is that they're taking care of other people more than they're taking care of themselves. Breast cancer is at the heart. You are putting out more than you are receiving. It could be at your job, it could be in your relationship, it could be with your children, but you're not there's no equal energy exchange going on. So that's my theory. And every single time a client comes to me and says she has breast cancer, I say, do you think do you think that you are taking care of others more than you're taking care of yourself? And the answer is always yes.
Assalamu alaikum. It's your brother Haqq Islam, all the way from our studios in Doha, Qatar, one of the most beautiful countries on the face of the earth. And I'm happy to have, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Tiara. I want to read her bio. She is a holistic herbalist, nutritionist, and life coach. She combines herbal medicine with mental and lifestyle realignment. Also, this is a very important part of her life. She's a global nomad on a mission to visit every country on earth with a massive, massive social media following of over 200,000 K. And she just started a YouTube channel, and we're working on a film together. So, Tiara, welcome.
I'm really happy to be here. Thank you. That sounds really impressive. That was good. Did you write that yourself?
Actually, you wrote it.
I didn't write it. You wrote it.
Yeah, no, I wrote it. Listen, you came in all the way from Philadelphia. You wanted to get out of that city, I know.
I did, but you have to be honest. I didn't come from Philly. I was already on my journey.
Yes. So tell me, where did you come from?
I came from Iraq.
And how was that experience?
Amazing. I mean, people from Iraq are just the sweetest, kindest, most loving, warm people you'll ever meet. And let me just say this. If they are warm to people of color, brown and black people, that means they're really, really nice. You know what I mean? We got that authentic feel and warmth from the country. Just a lovely, lovely place.
Now, I said something earlier. I want to go back because I don't want my friends in Philly to think that I was attacking them. But she and I have this thing about New York, Philadelphia. I think that New York is the greatest city on earth. And for some strange reason, she believes it's Philadelphia.
I never said that. I never said it was Philly. I just said it's definitely not a smelly place like.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
I can't hate on it too much. My whole family is from there. So
fact. Let's talk about some alignments that's plaguing the female population first. What are fibroids?
Yeah. So fibroids are benign polyps that develop over time in women during certain situations and when the body is experiencing certain situations. And so
what do you mean by certain situations?
Yeah. So stress, something called endocrine disruptors, which is simply hairspray or gel or the detergent we use or candles or certain exposures to different things. Fibroids can also develop from the food that we eat, which is number one. Yeah.
So how do you get rid of well, let me back up before we get into that. So many of my friends from Howard, roughly, my age, because you're going to get ready to tell me something about a generational thing, but it's okay. But they're experiencing these fibroids,
Yeah.
and I have my fibroids.
Yeah.
Why is it plaguing Black women so much?
I was going to say that there's definitely something about what Black and brown women are doing that increases our risk. I would say the way to reverse it is to stop doing what caused it, right? And that's the case for many things. So I explained that it's the food, number one. So reversing the food we eat, our diet.
Okay, stress diet.
Our diet is very important. You and I had a conversation the other day, and I said certain people need to eat healthier by nature. Their bodies are just designed to crave eating healthier, crave more nutrients, right? And so I think that our diet in our communities is filled with, processed food, cheap. There's so many fast food places that make it cheap, convenient, available, especially to feed our kids, right? So we can repeat the cycle. Um, there's too much salt in our diet. There's too much sugar in our diet. There's way too much processed food that we're consuming on a daily basis. Most people come to me and say, Tiara, oh, I eat healthy. I have a salad and I have this. And I say, okay, well, what else are you eating? Well, and it's that part that we need to address and be more honest with ourselves about. We're not drinking enough water. We're not going and getting our vitamins and minerals tested. We're just taking, oh, this sea moss seems good, so I'm just going to take it. Well, do you even need the minerals that it provides, or do you need other minerals? A lot of our women are iron deficient as well. Are we checking our iron levels? Are we, I can go on a whole tangent about iron, but the quality of iron is really important too.
So this is you're giving me a wide range of things that's causing these fibroids.
Absolutely.
So how do you address it?
Right. So
if I came to you with fibroids, what's the first thing you would do?
I would ask you about your diet. I would ask you where you work to see if you have toxin exposure.
So stress is a problem?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And toxin exposure, right? So nail techs, when they come to me, it's a no-brainer that they're getting it from the chemicals that are in nail salons. If you go and get your feet done all the time, the chemicals that you're exposed to. The thing that the ladies like to get where they put I forget what it's called, but basically they're
the
gel, exactly. These are endocrine disruptors. So to reverse it, we are removing those things, right? So we're replenishing with nutrients, like I said, getting nutrient testing, finding out what nutrients you need. I've never met a Black woman whose reports that I've seen that wasn't vitamin D deficient.
Where do you get vitamin D from?
You get it from the sun. You get it from plants.
So we're not getting enough sunlight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speak on that.
Yeah. There are so many ways you can go with this. You can go the direction of we were removed from sunlight permanently when we were removed from America. We can go in the direction of
removed from Africa.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you. When we were removed from Africa, put into America, we were removed from that consistent vitamin D. You can go that direction. You can go the direction of diet. So if not sure if you know this, but certain foods extract minerals out of the body. Like sometimes gluten can remove minerals. So if we're overloading with the stuff that removes minerals out of the body and not replenishing that, we become deficient. So back to how we get rid of fibroids. So we become aware of what is causing it, the food. So we swap our foods to foods, healthier foods, right? Get back to fruits and vegetables. Always clean your fruits and vegetables because there's pesticides on them that can cause a whole other host of issues. Also, saunas are so good, and it can be the ones in the gym. Saunas are really good for getting rid of fibroids because they're removing them out of the body. Shampoos and conditioners, be aware of these things because they are endocrine disruptors, right? So we want to be careful of what we're literally putting on our head, putting on our skin, and swapping to natural
What is
products.
An endocrine disruptor?
Yeah, so we have this system in our body called the endocrine system. And the endocrine system controls hormones. When our hormones are out of whack because we are taking on endocrine disruptors like sprays, cleaning products, candles, the things that I had listed earlier, those are endocrine disruptors. They're disrupting the endocrine system. And so therefore they're disrupting our hormones, making us feel crazy, making us miss periods, making our periods too long, making us infertile, these types of things. So all of those things that I listed are disrupting our ability to concentrate, our ability to have children, our natural, menstrual flow, disrupting a whole host of things, our mental health.
It's so fascinating.
It is.
Because all of these things you're talking about are in our daily consumption for women. Yeah. I'm thinking about my daughters, my sisters, all the females in my life are constantly using going to the nail salon, putting on these long eyelashes, putting in fake hair. So all of those things that are beautifying are actually taking away from your beauty.
Right. Right.
Speak on that, please.
Ultimately, there are many directions I could go with that. That's one of the reasons I love Islam, right? Because we're not focused on none of that. But anyway, it becomes,
Well, we are in a natural sense.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you said the nail salon and those
Yeah,
types of things,
we don't.
we're not
Yeah,
focused
but
on that.
the thing that Islam does for me from a appreciative point of view, I love looking at the natural beauty of our women.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, our society makes it hard to, for
To
some
be
women to
natural.
feel comfortable and confident. But
Why is that?
I think if you ask me and you ask 10 other women, we may have different answers. So I can give you my answer from my lived experience.
Hey, you got the mic.
Only. I'm just saying, because I don't want anybody saying like, well, she doesn't, or that's not.
You got the mic.
I think that there's a standard of beauty.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that standard of beauty, or you're not fetishized or romanticized, then, you're looked down upon. And it could be color, it could be your facial structure, it could be your weight, it could be your race, it could be your accent, different things. As simple as that.
So you're saying that these other endocrine disruptors allow you to cover up your natural beauty because you have low self-esteem?
If you shall choose, or if you just want to get cute, there's a fine line between the standards of beauty, and maybe I just find that cute, right? The debate with men, African American men preferring light-skinned women. Their defense is always, I just like light-skinned women. Is it institutionalized? You know what I mean? Is it, is he so wrapped up in it he doesn't realize it, or does he just like light-skinned women? So it's the same type of debate.
All right. What is PCOS?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome is when so women have cysts in their body naturally. When there is, when it's polycystic, when we have too many going on, then that can cause issues. Mainly, I don't know if you've ever seen a woman with facial hair, like the hair around this area. Sometimes another symptom is infertility. So if a woman's not able to get pregnant, if a period is missing for a long period of time, 2 years or something, and that is really caused by endometriosis. I always say one of the conduits is seafood. Black people, we love seafood, seafood boils. PCOS is just processed food in general, from my studies. And a lot of women come to me because they don't mind the symptoms until they're trying to conceive. And so that's when I generally meet them, when they and their partner are trying to conceive. And so we have to first reverse that, and then they're able to do it.
One of the symptoms of this is a painful period. Why is this hitting Black women so hard?
Yeah, I think it's
Black and brown women.
Yeah, I think it's the diet. I think honestly it's the diet. Truly, I think it's the diet, and I'm just stick to that. I'm a nutritionist and I study it all the time.
So if I came to you with PCOS, what's the treatment?
The treatment is, I like to have women go completely alkaline. And I'm not a one-size-fit-all coach where I don't always say alkaline, but for PCOS specifically, you need to go heavy on the nutrients, and you need to remove that inflammation out of the body.
What's an alkaline diet?
An alkaline diet, most fruits, most veggies, certain grains.
What are those?
So we can do amaranth, we can do fonio, we can do teff, we can do spelt, things like this. And
these are all very natural grains.
Absolutely.
And those grains are hard to find in America.
I wouldn't say they are.
No?
Honestly, I wouldn't say they are. I would say that you can find them at health food stores. Now, what they are is more expensive, unfortunately. I don't want to tell you my grocery bill back in America every month, but my health is worth it, and it's cheaper than hospital bills.
Yeah.
So that's my justification.
These PCOS is really hitting my family hard. I'm talking about generationally speaking, from young to old. And it's because it seems like it's a new phenomenon, because I don't remember my aunties talking about, I can't get out of bed because of my period. So because of the food being so bad now,
Right.
this is why it's more prevalent?
I think so. I also think equally that it existed. They just weren't getting diagnosed. Women just weren't being heard, especially women of color, just weren't being heard. So there's a really good book that I like to read on it that talks about the cycle syncing method, which is something that women can do to reverse this. I'll go into that in a second. But there's research that goes back to the 70s on this, but women just their voices just weren't being heard. And the studies, the biomarkers at that time, the baseline was a man. You get what I'm saying? There weren't as many studies done on women to compare a woman's body to a woman's body. It was comparing a woman's body to a man's body because those were the studies, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to go back to America, even though we're sitting in one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
You're going back. I'm going to Bangladesh tomorrow.
She's going to Bangladesh tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. She's on a mission, brothers and sisters, to see every country on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people in America are overweight.
Mm-hmm.
60% of black women
Yeah.
are overweight. Why?
Yeah. I'm going to stand the food. That's it. That's it. We have an addiction to food. People don't want to see that. And it's evident in the high amount of cancers that we had. It's evident in, all the ailments that we're experiencing in America, the diabetes. It's food, and we're not active. Let's just be honest. The only time we're active is when we want to get the body together, but we're not active enough. We're not doing the things that were done in the past. We're not working as much outside, or we're working, from the computer, which is great, but also don't
But you're
neglect.
missing sunlight.
Exactly. And you're missing being active. So I think that's it. I think because, you know why? Because anytime someone comes to me with any kind of condition, once I change their diet, inevitably, and maybe you notice this too, the weight is dropping. It's balancing. And it's not that I'm trying to have people lose weight, but it's just letting you know that toxin buildup, just with a simple diet switch, will balance you out, Yeah.
So we've been talking for a while now, just in terms of this conversation, and everything is going back to diet.
Yeah.
So
It
the
really
root
is.
causes of all of these things, because obesity leads to heart disease, leads to high blood pressure, can lead to cancer.
Yes.
We're also seeing a lot of, within my family and my friends' network, we're seeing sisters getting menses at 8, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see absence of
Mm-hmm.
menstruation in the 20s and
Yeah.
early menopause.
Right.
How do you treat this, and what is all of that?
Yeah.
Start from getting a menstruation at 8,
Yeah.
9 years old.
So what you are talking about in essence, so a woman receives her menses when she goes through a hormonal shift, right? If she's receiving it early, she's going through that hormonal shift early. If she stops receiving, if she stops experiencing menstruation, then her hormones are shifting. So it's all hormones. So back to the hormone disruptors, the endocrine disruptors, the things that we are experiencing on a daily basis. Now, I'm not saying we can completely avoid it. It's inevitable, right? So if I'm on airplanes a lot, I get X-rays a lot. It's inevitable. Work environments, and I can say the same thing about men in typical work environments for traditionally for men, right? We are exposed to it, but being mindful. Okay, let me swap out to a healthier candle. Instead of the plugins, let me try essential oils or something like that. Just being mindful where you can. It's not possible to be perfect. I mean, we have, arguably we have chemicals falling from the sky, every month. But doing what you can, the exposure to the chemicals heightens or throws off, hijacks our hormones, and that's what causes the lack of menstruation. That's what causes the early ending and beginning of it.
How does a lot of these animals their process of growth is accelerated through hormone?
Yeah.
Do you need to stop?
Mm-mm.
All right. How does injecting animals with hormones affect
Yeah.
the hormones within our body?
Yes. Okay. Can I nerd out for a second?
Of course.
Stick with me. So if we are putting in, let's start with antibiotics because that's what goes into hormones. If we are consuming something with antibiotics. Inevitably, we have antibiotics in us. We know what happens. Well, maybe we don't. What happens when we have long antibiotic exposure is that when we're consuming it just by itself, is that it messes up our stomach. So now our stomach is destroyed. If I'm eating chicken every day from whatever fast food place, stomach is destroyed. So any type of food that I'm putting in that's nourishing, my belly can't digest it. It's not going to.
When you
parts of my
say
body.
stomach is destroyed, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
the gut microbiome. So because antibiotics destroy the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, right?
You really have to nerd out. So the gut microbiome,
Yeah.
what is that?
So it's what makes up the gut. It's the different bacteria, the good bacteria that makes up the gut. We need a bunch of different kinds. That's why we're supposed to eat our fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds and these types of things, different array of things to strengthen our gut and to strengthen our body. When we consume food, it first goes to the gut. If we're consuming foods high in antibiotics and in hormones, our gut is then compromised, right? And if our gut cannot digest the food, it's not going anywhere else in our body. It won't. So you come to me with PCOS and I say, okay, well, we got to change your diet. And you do a little bit here, you do a little bit there. You have followed my protocol. You come back to me and say, well, Tiara, it's working a little bit, but no, we need to do a total reset. We need to heal that gut. So one of the things I emphasize when women have certain ailments, when people have certain ailments, is heal the gut first. Cleanse the blood and heal the gut. You know, and
Cleanse the blood,
mm-hmm.
heal the gut.
Yeah,
All right.
that's my.
What's the prescription for cleansing the blood?
Yes, I do want to overemphasize that gut first. I do want to overemphasize the fact that if there's anything going on with the gut, if you have a reaction after food, if you notice, your stomach hurts certain times, address that gut concern first and maybe talk to a doctor about what exactly is going on. There are.
But sometimes, Tiara, you're coming from a whole different perspective.
Yeah,
Because doctors are not going to talk to you about
it's true.
your gut health, cleaning your blood, going to get more sun. When you're in America, because coming outside of America, you see America differently. And the amount of ads that come on telling you you're sick and you need this pill. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll say, well, damn, do I have that? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I never heard of that, So
And then you text me and say, Tiara, do I have it? Yeah.
Which is true. It's true. But you're getting bombarded with
true, yeah.
unnatural methods of healing.
Yeah.
So it's taking a while. When someone comes to you, it takes a while probably for them to figure out.
Yeah. So what I like to say is, come when you book a call with me, already have certain, already have certain things done. So, and if you don't know what to get done, like let's say you came and you had gut issues, I would say get certain testing done before you come. That way I can look at it. I'm not saying don't follow up after a diagnosis with a doctor. You do what you want, but I'm saying I'm able to read the test and say, okay, here are my recommendations, right? So going to the doctors and getting a diagnosis or, look into what they see. And then you can come to me and then we work on the gut. And then the blood, which is what you asked about, cleansing the blood is really good for a lot of different ailments in the body, right? It's good for anything to do with the heart. It's good for HSV, HIV, obviously.
What's HSV?
Herpes. So it's good for this. So cleansing it out of the body. It is good for, a lot of autoimmune conditions. It's good for things, it's good to figure out what's going on in the body. And then herbs that we're going to use for cleansing the blood. Bitters. As you know, I love bitters and I love to give you guys bitters, especially black men. Guaco.
Why?
Because we need that cleanse. When's the last time you had a detox before, having a conversation with me? When's the last time we, went to the cells and nourished them and replenished with good blood? Guaco, it's a really good one. Sarsaparilla is a really good one. Those are probably two of my favorite ones. Another really good one, especially for men, especially for blood flow in certain areas, is one called palo de hombre, or
Palo de hombre,
yeah, which means
strong man.
yeah, man's wood. Yeah. You learning Spanish? Oh yeah.
Tú entiende.
Yeah.
Tú sabes. Mi
Yeah.
español es bueno.
There you go.
No es perfecto.
Bueno. So those are really good ones that I like to recommend. Burdock is another amazing one. And it does have to couple with healing the gut, herbs that are healing the gut, and your diet.
What are the herbs that are healing the gut?
Yeah, so the reason I didn't say it is because it depends on what's going on in the gut, right? So slippery elm is wonderful for the gut if you need to heal the gut lining. It depends, like, I don't want to misguide anyone. So, but general ones, slippery elm aloe is really, really good for the gut. So
The
just
same aloe as aloe vera.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So the plant, you blend it with some water, really good. Yeah, those are two that I would recommend for the gut.
How do you like sea moss?
Love it. Love it.
Why?
I love it because it is one of those superfoods. Do we overuse it? Well, I wouldn't say overuse it. Do we oversell it in America? Yes. When I used to sell it, I would only sell it when it was foraged in the ocean, because I respected nature and I respected, But I still think it's wonderful. I think, we talk about it a lot, but it's still wonderful. Sourcing is very important, though. I've heard that there's some fake sea moss out there, so y'all be
A
careful.
lot of fake sea moss in America.
Yeah,
Got to be careful.
you have to.
All right. Now, we've seen
People
it.
be putting Henny in the sea moss.
Henny in the sea moss. That don't make sense.
No,
It's a Philadelphia thing, right?
I think it was Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta.
Hennessy and sea
I
moss.
think it was Atlanta.
All right. Let's talk about cancer. There's been an increase in prostate cancer amongst men and breast cancer amongst women.
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
That's
Why?
it. Eso es. You know what I'm gonna say?
Please.
The diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So the cancer is especially
What causes cancer?
what causes cancer.
And what is cancer?
And what is cancer? So everyone has cells in the body. Arguably, we have cancer cells existing in our body. We have dead cells, we have cancer cells, we have normal healthy cells. It depends on, I'm not going to nerd out too much, but.
No, please do, because we want to give our people the information.
Yeah, so disease in general, if you are my brother, no, let's say you're my uncle, and you have a certain ailment. Let's say you have, and I'm going to tie it to cancer in a second, and you have diabetes and you got it from, your dad, and it was passed down, arguably you got it from your dad. And I don't get it, but everybody else in the family got it. And they're looking at me like, why didn't you get it? And let's say I eat healthier. There's this thing called gene expression. And if I'm living a healthier lifestyle, I'm less likely, it's suppressed in me. That gene, quote unquote, that gene of diabetes is less expressed in me because I'm not feeding it, right? So if I'm looking at it from an allopathic lens, which that's the allopathic lens, cancer, some people say it can be passed down. I would say that I can't disrespect people's science and what they've studied for a long time, but I would argue that it doesn't necessarily have to be passed down.
Because that would mean that we would be able to trace cancer back to Africa, which is insane.
Yeah, exactly. When the reality is that, there are multiple different things that we get cancer from. So if you've heard of carcinogens,
Yes.
it could be in the rice.
But what are carcinogens?
Right. So it's cancer. So a carcinogen is a cancer-causing compound.
3 examples of a carcinogen.
Rice, certain rice. And
white rice?
And
or any rice?
So here's the thing. If we looked at rice back then, maybe, a couple decades ago, and we look at rice now, I can just say rice, right? And it can be the rice that, for example, was imported from China or something that I'm referring to. But you may be like, no, I get my rice from Sri Lanka, and it's naturally, and so I want to be careful not to just make a blanket statement and say rice.
So the blanket, I think it's when you usually what I think. Enriched rice means that they strip
fortified, enriched. These are the words we want to avoid.
Why?
because they're adding to it. It's not the natural rice, and they're adding to it because they're
Because they
removing.
took away.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Bread as well. They're doing the same thing
So
with
when you
bread.
see the word enriched wheat bread or enriched white bread,
Run.
run.
Yeah.
Enriched rice, run.
Run.
Because what they did was take out the nutrients and then
In
try
order
to
to extend the shelf life.
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of these are carcinogens which
Yeah.
cause cancer.
Exactly, which can cause cancer.
And this is why we're seeing an increase. Why breasts?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a theory, and I have not been proven wrong yet. It became, over the years, I noticed a pattern with my women clients. And once it became that aha moment that came into the front part of my brain that expressed it through my mouth, I said, let me start asking women about this. Among other things, like the food that we're eating and the stress that women are under, I think one of Tiara's theory on why I think breast cancer is on the rise or exists in women is that they're taking care of other people more than they're taking care of themselves. Breast cancer is at the heart. You are putting out more than you are receiving. It could be at your job, it could be in your relationship, it could be with your children, but there's no equal energy exchange going on. So that's my theory. And every single time a client comes to me and says she has breast cancer, I say, do you think do you think that you are taking care of others more than you're taking care of yourself? And the answer is always yes.
So with this in mind, carcinogens, stress, lack of taking care of oneself. So there's many contributing factors to illness.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, prostate.
Yeah, so prostate is on the rise, and it's getting younger and younger. I know someone with 30s, in their 30s with prostate issues. And again, I'm not going to make a blanket statement and say it's all of this, but it's what's being added to it. Meat. What is being added to meat? Meat itself, naturally, you go to a farm and totally fine, no GMOs or anything. So not all meat. What's being added to the meat? The antibiotics, the hormones. It's messing up y'all hormones too.
So the hormones that's being added to meat, and what these hormones do is accelerate growth.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of gestation being a year or two,
Right.
it'll be 3 months.
Right.
That's a damn shame. So and these hormones are affecting my life, your life,
Yes.
our children's life.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Elaborate.
Yeah. So as far as prostate,
Yes.
as far as in the realm of prostate, I have a passion for this topic because my dad had prostate cancer 3 years ago. Next week will make 3 years. And so I love talking about this topic. And if I can talk about a pattern with the prostate in like by far meat, including fish, because they're adulterating the fish as well. So I'm,
But now
black men love to say I love salmon, and
you
I know
be
you was about to say
messing
that.
with
Go
my
ahead.
salmon.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
He messages me so proud. Said, "Oh, I'm getting salmon." I said, "Where are you getting it from? What oil are they using? What salt are they using?"
Yeah, and where did I get it from?
The Yemeni spot. He said, "I'm gonna make my own salmon."
That Yemeni spot was good.
I get it, but they're making salmon larger than you now.
Yeah, that's true.
So in Alaska,
Half the time when I fight with her, I can't win
No.
because she's I know what she's saying is true.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I did the other day. I knew she was gonna meet me here, so before she got here, something I don't do, but I went to a restaurant here and I ate some lamb, and it was delicious. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And
delicious.
how'd you feel after?
Felt
Be
terrible.
honest.
I felt terrible.
Yeah, because you've
Yeah.
been off it for a while.
A while.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought about you
Yeah.
when I was eating it.
I bet you thought about me when you were feeling
Yeah.
the stomach pains as well.
My gut health
Yeah.
was compromised.
But it's good because you saw that.
Yeah.
So you see it.
Yeah.
Right? And perhaps if you had lamb, again, straight from the village, cooked in a good oil, because I'm not saying the village mixed with
No, but
straight.
I had it. One of the reasons why I ate it here was because I didn't think
That's a misconception. That's a misconception. They're also now keeping up with demand. not just here, I'm saying the world. People come to Africa, oh, I'm going to eat so healthy, everything is no. I also see the pesticides being sprayed. I was in Indonesia, saw the rice being sprayed. So it is no longer just America and Europe. It is happening everywhere to keep up with the demand of us. We're all here as tourists or as visitors, an influx of us. They got to keep up. So it's also happening here.
Anyway, let's get back to the causes of prostate cancer. And messed up my lamb meal. It was good though.
Well, we got goals, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So the food, again, the hormones that's being injected into the meats is causing, or one of the causes,
right, contributing
of the cancer, prostate cancer.
Contributing, and I can go over a host of other things because it's also tap water and water quality in America, right? And so a person watching this may be exhausted with like, I can't eat nothing. You know what I mean? And the unfortunate thing is that it's been made so convenient to eat fast food and to eat unhealthy, and it's been made so expensive and inconvenient to care for your body. But like I said earlier, cheaper than hospital bills. Cheap, like, when will your will to live outweigh your addiction? So we do have to make sacrifices.
So how did you address it in your dad?
So when we found out, everyone was crying, and I was like, guys, come on, Herbalist here. Like, come on, let me do what I do, And with my dad, I was living in Zanzibar at the time. So I said, let me take you over to Zanzibar. I'm going to took him to Honduras. I used to work with a woman down there, and I just...
Wait a minute. Did he go to Zanzibar or Honduras?
Both.
Both.
So we went to Honduras first, got all the herbs that we needed, the herbs that I'm familiar with and I'm used to, stayed down there for about a week, and then took him over to Zanzibar. That is not obligatory. That's just what I did. So that way he was under my care. I help people all the time reverse prostate cancer being in America or being in Germany or their home country. So it's not obligatory. It's just, I just wanted him in eyes reach. So we completely changed his diet to alkaline, which is what we talked about earlier, the fruits, the vegetables, certain grains, cutting out processed foods, certain oils, like the avocado oil, and,
Coconut oil.
Coconut oil is wonderful. Olive oil is wonderful. And we added herbs, bitters, clean that blood, stuff for the stomach. We added herbs specifically for cancer, like cancerina, which is cancer, I-N-A, cancerina. And different environment, right? So more sunlight is what we were able to do. Do you know that if you're closer to the equator, you're more likely to heal faster? There's some science behind that. So bottom to 2 places closer to the equator. If you're not able to do that, you still want to get in that sunlight. You still want to get sweating. You still want to get moving. So moving your body is also important. He was diagnosed 3 years ago, and every 3 months we went in and he got checked to see where his PSA levels. And we were just talking about this the other day. I said, hey, Dad, did you know that we're coming up on, 3 years? And he was like, the highest my PSA got was a 12. So when men have prostate issues, it could be an elevated PSA, it could be prostate enlargement, and it could be prostate cancer. He had all three. And so his PSA was a 12, and he had prostate enlargement and the cancer stage 2. And they wanted to, immediately surgery. He went and got 2 opinions, and then they were like, surgery right away. And I'm like, guys, come on, like, change your diet. It's honestly, it's simple math. It's the consistency that's the issue. So that's why I wanted him with me. He was sick of alkaline pancakes by the time I was done with them, but changed his diet. 3 months, we noticed a decrease. By August of that year, 3 years ago, they were like, whatever you're doing, they whispered it, just keep doing it. And by November, completely out of the body. He went back February of the following year to, because they asked him to do a follow-up, I think 3 months later. And they went and they were like, still gone. Weird. And it took him a while to admit that the cancer was gone, right, without surgery. And so he went back 3 months later, and they said, sir, just don't come back. They literally was like, just don't.
But he has to maintain that diet.
So right? He, You do, but you don't have to you don't have to stick to it all the time. Just be mindful. Just care about your body. You don't have to be alkaline the entire time. So now he's pescatarian and he's mindful of the fish that he buys, and he's mindful to drink a lot of. He drinks like 32 ounces of juice, fresh juice that he juices every day, and then once a month I have him do watermelon for one weekend out of the month. So you're maintaining, and you're also mindful.
Why watermelon?
Because seeded watermelon, seeded grapes are amazing for healing the body at a cellular level.
All right. Now, prostate health is linked to male sexual health.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I've become everybody's uncle.
Yeah.
And young brothers come to me now with ED problems.
Yeah. Young.
There was a brother that was approximately 30. He told me that the Viagra and other pills, they don't work anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, show me your diet and I'll tell you your disease. Probably pills, the pill popping culture that, some people rap about has destroyed the male performance. Coupled with diet, coupled with alcohol, coupled with stress, coupled with unethical sexual practices. You know what I mean? Multiple partners, and you reap what you sow. Honestly, you're out here, maybe hurting women, and I think that comes back to you in the ways that matter to you most. So we can go esoterical, we can go practical.
But why so young? I said this. He's like 28 years old.
Yeah, 28 years of a bad diet. When back in your day, when you were younger, was the food healthier?
Much healthier.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's like my son's generation is partially healthy, and his daughter is completely unhealthy.
And add in screen time.
Yeah, and add in everything. Now, the thing about, because I remember, and again, I'm really not that old, but cheese went bad, bread went bad.
Exactly.
Recently I traveled for 2 weeks and I went to the grapes were still good, and I said, I'm not eating that. You know what I mean? But I can remember tomatoes going bad, fruit going bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So now you say, well, what's in that? And you're saying that these are the things that's causing for him at 28 ED.
Exactly. That's it. No, that's exactly it. And you've said it perfectly. It's what we're eating. We think that we have simple grapes, but it's not. It has the coating of the pesticides. It's GMO. It's an adulterated process. We are natural beings meant to eat natural food, but we're not doing that. So if we don't have the proper, food to put into our bodies, and we're not able to operate, if we don't give our bodies what it needs to function, how do we then expect it to function?
As an African American, let me broaden it. Black, brown people, Muslims, we're under a lot of stress. Just if you pick up your phone, you see things that cause you stress. What role does stress and trauma play in the life of your body's health?
Man, such an important role. Another Tiara theory is that autoimmune conditions develop from stress and some type of trauma. Autoimmune is more prevalent in women, and I pry a bit into, when I'm working with clients, well, when did you start noticing these symptoms, and when did you, it's always a stressful time. If it's childhood, it could be surgery, and I'm not talking about just emotional trauma. It could be physical trauma done to the body. So, the body being manipulated. So it could have been trauma from birth. So trauma and stress play a huge role. When it's unresolved, when it's not addressed, Black men don't like addressing trauma, and that's just the reality of it. And that's when you guys are getting the heart disease. That's when you guys are noticing, you're going blind because your heart, your blood pressure is so high, and these things, because you're harboring so much stress. That's it.
But this is, ever since we got to America, you deal with the stress and trauma of the enslaved
Yeah.
coming from Africa to America,
Yeah.
and then that whole period of making a man a slave. You know,
Yeah.
watching your woman get raped and
Yeah.
what kind of
The
effect
trauma. The
it
trauma.
had on you. And now it's being passed
Absolutely.
down. And then you deal with so-called post-slavery, Jim Crow,
Yeah.
and then civil. So it's like a
It's a whole
constant.
lot.
How do you address it? You have been through a lot.
Yeah.
So now we're going to focus on you.
All right. You sure?
Absolutely.
All right.
So you growing up in Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
Yeah, and you have a Puerto Rican mother and a black father, and I know Philly has adverse circumstances. So talk about the trauma that was in your life that
Yeah.
caused you to be in this place of reclaiming your health.
So I was born in a crack house. Well, heroin house to be specific. And
Literally born,
no. Raised, I'll say.
raised.
Raised into one. And, you know, of course, when we're in these circumstances, when we're younger, we just normalize it. So I didn't feel like I was lacking anything while I was there. And it was my grandparents who raised me. And there was a
Which
lot of
side? The African American side or
Mama's
Puerto
side,
Rican
Puerto
side?
Rican side.
Puerto Rican side.
And so, you know, as I got older, there was a lot of resentment towards my parents, who I love dearly now, best friends. We made up, Mama, I love you, Daddy, I love you, you know. But growing up, not understanding that they had to go through their coming of age as well. And they were young parents as well, not sure what to do. Therefore, left me with my grandparents who I remember wanting to be with, right? I just remember wanting to be with grandma. But it was it was a heroin house.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Your grandmother
Yeah.
ran the crack house.
Ran the ship.
All right.
All right. Dallas. All right. So in that situation, when money was good, great. When money was not, food scarcity, wearing the same clothes, you know what I mean? You know, just poverty, just North Philly poverty. And thoughts of, well, why aren't my parents here? You know, inevitably come up. Why don't they want me? You know, that, you know, and then feelings of worthiness. Well, if my parents don't even want me, then, and they left me in a crack house. And why, you know, what's my significance in this world? So healing for me meant having that hard conversation with parents who did not want to have those hard conversations. But it was important for my healing and for our healing. And I will say that you won't always get the answer you want, but expressing that is really important. Fortunately, it built me and my parents' bond to where those are my best friends now. Them understanding my perspective, me understanding, oh, I didn't know that you were going through that, you know. But a large part of healing for me and my perspective, and some things that I recommend, is that communication. We don't talk as much anymore. Like as a people, we don't communicate. I can say Americans. We're on the phone a lot, and I express myself through social media posts or, you know, or our texts, but we're not communicating. We're not opening up that channel for you to hear the empathy in my voice, and for me to hear yours, and for me to hear the cadence in yours to help understand. We're not having that dialogue, and I forced my parents to have that. And it's funny now because they make fun of me for it. But that healed a part of my inner child that I needed, right? And then when I became their age, I then understood, oh, I wouldn't have been able to raise a child this young. Oh, I'm partying. What? You know?
But what age did you come to this realization?
I think it's just over time. I think it's over time. I think that Qadr, honestly, it was decreed for me to have this path, because when I was 17, I stopped eating meat. Why? No one in the hood is doing that. That's weird. That's just, you know, when I was 17, I also went to my first country, which is Ghana.
Where'd you go to school? At high school?
Girls High.
So you smart.
I don't know. You, how many minutes into this and you just realizing I'm smart? Girls High stamped
How
it.
did you get from Girls High to Ghana?
So I knew I wanted different for myself. I didn't always have the resources, but I knew I wanted different, right? And so it was over time, honestly. It was like, oh, I see what's going on in my community. I don't want that. Lord help me.
No, but Girls High is a special high school. You know, how did you get into you're in a crack house? How you go from crack house to
Yeah,
Girls High?
because even and my grandparents sold and used, right?
What's the NU?
And used
Oh,
drugs.
and sold and used. I still don't understand. You're
Mm-hmm.
living in a crack house,
Mm-hmm.
but you're studying to get into Girls High.
Right.
So
So
something is going right somewhere.
grandparents were still very much like, do your homework, sat with me. I mean, the druggies were in the background doing their thing, but sat with me. My grandfather every single night sat with me and did, homework with me.
Alhamdulillah.
My
Yeah.
grandma made sure I got into school. She fought. She was like, no, my granddaughter's not going to neighborhood school. She's going to, my parents made sure that I had the money to be able to afford the things that I needed to. My dad every single day every single month took me to and from college. My mom, I eventually moved in with her and that became my best friend. So I did have a village. It was fragmented because of their circumstances, but I don't discredit. My aunt took a chunk of my life. She raised me. It really took a village, and like I said, Qatar. It just they did what they could, which that's part of the healing, right? We have to understand that this is the capacity that they had to do it, right? So while I was like, I want more, I needed more. I wish, why can't I have a life like my friend who's at the white school that I'm going to? But my family, my grandma, my grandfather, my mom, my dad, and my aunt did what they could with what they had.
What is Qatar for
Qadr,
all those that don't know?
the Qadr, the decree of Allah, right? The decree of God, and what happens is meant to happen, is
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
It's like your life is laid out.
Planned. Yeah.
You know. All right. So you're in. How'd you get from Girls High to Ghana?
So an organization came to the school, and I want to say this. In high school, I got opportunities because I actually looked at the bulletin boards. I talked to the counselors. I sought these opportunities. I was going to get out the hood one way or another, right? I was
Because you're kind of smart.
a little bit, right?
A little bit.
So I said, I'm going to take advantage of any programs that seem too good to be true. When I was in high school, we would look at the things on the bulletin board like, I'm not smart enough to get into this, or I could never get, this is white people stuff. I could never do this or whatever. But I was that nerd that was like, okay, so summer, y'all going to Ghana, I'm going with y'all. So there were programs. This program that I was a part of called Summer Search, amazing program. They take you on journeys to basically get out of your environment and get out of your head and do something for yourself and do something for the world. And so, very long story short, over a 2-year process, I had gone on 2 trips with them, and they sponsored completely, passport, everything, ride to the airport every single day, my trip to Ghana to do community service at 17.
Okay, 17. You're. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna go left for a minute.
Let's go.
What's a Philly Muslim?
That's. I'm gonna be laughing for a while. Hold on, let me get comfortable. Hold on. All right, here we are. A Philly Muslim.
Yes.
Let me start off by saying I do not have the knowledge or the age or the
Wisdom.
experience within Islam, because I've only been Muslim a year, to say certain things about the Philly Muslim community. I can talk about my own experience. Let's go there.
Absolutely. This is Tiara's experience.
So don't come for me, y'all.
As a Philly Muslim, or experiences with Philly Muslims. Now, my caveat is I love Philadelphia. This is where I learned how to produce music, how I became a music business executive under the tutelage of Kenny Gamble. I love Philadelphia. I lived on Spring Garden across from the
Community college.
Mm-hmm. 2 years. He taught me how to make music, how to own music, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Philly, I love you. You got the floor.
All right. Growing up in Philly, there's a beautiful Muslim population, and some people may have their stereotypes about them, but they for the most part mind their business. Last year, I decided to convert to Islam.
Revert.
Revert. Thank you so much. Revert to Islam. I had been living in Zanzibar. There were many different things that contributed to this. Ultimately, Qadr.
It was an evolution.
There was an evolution. I was living in Zanzibar, and I just loved how Muslims, the disposition and the friendliness and the welcoming community that I'd experienced in Turkey and in Zanzibar and in different countries I traveled to. So I said, I want to be Muslim. So when I was in Zanzibar, I remember being at the airport. I took my shahada myself. And then I went to Philly and did it again just in case that wasn't right, you know? And so going into the community, again, I had beautiful experiences in other places. Philly, naturally rough. Like everyone, I'm not talking about Muslims. Naturally a rough place. You have to, right? You have to be on defense to survive there. Maybe some places in New York are this way.
Some places.
So Philly by nature is rough. And so there is a stereotype that I hear all over the world about the Philly Muslim, right? Some people, I've even heard out of some people's mouths that it's an extreme, an extremist group. Now that's not my words, but this is what I'm hearing. So there is that, that stereotype. But here's the thing. Philly is rough. Philly cannot be gentle parented. So I understand the imams there and why there's that passion there. I understand to a certain degree. Now I can talk about my grievances. When I became Muslim, everyone wants to help you, right? And it's beautiful. I love it. But they also, in a sense, want to control your physical appearance. And so the stereotype for the Philly Muslims is that we were niqab and that, I'd get yelled at for this little piece showing and my arm show, that type of thing. So when I'm in certain masjids, not all of them, there's that criticism there. You're not reading the right Quran. Your hair, well, outside the masjid, your hair is showing, your hands are showing. And then, so I would argue that some people are using Islam to weaponize, especially women. And me being new, I'm like, oh, maybe this is Islam. Maybe I thought about this all wrong. But when I was in, these other countries, it wasn't as strict. So I'm learning, receiving the information from my people from Philly because that's where. And I'm going into my personal story before I talk about the Philly Muslim. And so it felt my world became smaller and constricted. And there was a bit of resentment in my heart towards, quote unquote, the Philly Muslim and towards Islam, because it appeared that my experiences with people, there was more emphasis on my physical appearance than, hey, Tiara, you need help with prayer? Yeah. And if abaya is a symbol, hijab, if hijab is a symbol of your devotion and your dedication and your relationship with Allah, but I'm being forced, you understand what I'm saying? But I'm being forced to wear it. It then removes that relationship that I have with Allah, and it becomes like something I have to do, like sending your child to school. They hate school because you always send them to school, and they're forced to do it. So in my experience, it's more performative. I have to give so many caveats. But the experience that I had in Philly as a Muslim with Philly Muslims was that it was more performative than actually figuring out how my journey is going.
Your experiences.
My experience.
How did you evolve out of those?
Yes, so I said I got to leave Philly.
So you left.
I was on a mission, and that was 8 months ago, and I've been to 8 Muslim countries since. Love. I mean, it has deepened my relationship with Allah, with Islam so much because of the daily interactions. And it's an answered prayer, an answered dua. I said, Allah, help me to fall in love with the religion through interactions with people.
What were the 8 countries?
Through the kindness of people, through the warmth. And that's exactly what happened.
Because you visited, well, I know, but let's go back to the 8 countries, but you visited some very spiritual places.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's a part of your mission on Earth. What were the 8 countries that you visited once you left Philly? So
I visited Indonesia. I visited Egypt. I visited Jordan. I visited Saudi Arabia. I visited Turkey. I visited, let's see. Oh, we're in Qatar.
Yeah.
And I'm missing 2.
Iraq.
Yeah, of course. And Kurdistan.
Okay. And what was your favorite?
Oh, it's
experience?
so hard. It's so hard to pick.
Give me the top two.
My top two favorite Muslim countries that I visited in the past few months,
Yeah.
probably Indonesia. The warmness, the warmth. Like Muslim countries are my favorite because they're just so warm. It's just nothing like what we hear about. Indonesia and Iraq.
What about Jordan? You
Oh, absolutely love. See, it's hard to pick because I forgot about Jordan. I would live there.
tell me about Jordan.
Oh, just a beautiful place. The kindness, just the kindness there is just like, wow. I don't know about you, but when I travel, there's a certain level of racism I anticipate
Yeah.
because we're brown. Let's just be honest. And I'm a woman, and the stereotypes that I heard about Muslim countries, none of that. I mean, I don't know if I picked up my luggage ever. Complete strangers would help me out. I was traveling with a friend and someone held her baby and like helped her wrap her baby. It's just like the sweetness of the people on the street. And then the food.
Didn't you go to Mount Sinai?
Yeah, in Egypt.
Yeah. Tell me about that
Beautiful.
experience.
So Mount Sinai is a special place for religious people, for Christians and Muslims, especially because it is trying to combine give a general statement on what it is. It is a place where Prophet Moses received revelation, right? And he was instructed to go up there, and he received a certain revelation to go up there to the mountain and just sit. And I had the opportunity to go when I was so I stayed a month in the Sinai region of Egypt. And I went on a camel, middle of the night, just starry sky, pitch black with stars, with the silhouette of the mountains just up on a camel. Like, how I feel like I'm being romanced through this life. I'm like, how, like, and I had a few guys that I love with me. You know what I mean? I had I'm doing the documentary actually, and someone I consider my brother, and just feeling the Muslim, I don't know, unity, and it just felt
The
so
deen, the
beautiful. You
spirituality,
just
the
felt it
connectiveness.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to you.
Hmm.
What I mean, this is all about you, actually. But what got you on the path to holistic healing?
Yeah, I would say in evolution, like we've been saying, the theme of tonight. But the first catalyst was I was living in Mozambique. I was in the Peace Corps, and this was about, I don't know, 12 years ago or so. Living in a remote village, and the Peace Corps told us to take anti-malarials because most places in they thought that most places in Mozambique had malaria. And at the first 2 months, yep, sure, no problem. And then after a while, I was like, anti-malarials are antibiotics, at least the Doxy, the one that I was on. And I said, this can't be good for long term. So I got curious about what the locals did to prevent malaria. Allah's providing us with everything we need, right? And it's people who extract it and remove it for their own gain. And so I got curious about what they did. And one of the things that they did was moringa. Now, again, this is 12 or so years ago before it was super popular. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to take moringa
How did they consume it? As a tea?
as the seed.
As a
So
seed?
I would chew the seed and consume that every day. Yeah, it has a very bitter taste, but I did it. And I don't know if I was never meant to get malaria or if it helped, but I never got malaria for the duration of my service before I got kicked out.
Why'd you get kicked out of the Peace Corps?
You ready for this conversation?
Please.
I'm going to try to sum it up for you. I got kicked out because, so I had my own reasons for wanting to go to Peace Corps. I wanted to serve. I wanted to be with the students, and I wanted to teach and just do my part in the world. So I was living in this area called Milange, and it's a
In Mozambique.
A remote village. I mean, so remote that our closest grocery store was in the next country over. We had to go grocery shopping in the next country, in Malawi. There was an incident that I was made to feel super unsafe in. Called the Peace Corps and said, "Hey, I don't feel safe with this person. Can I be, removed from this person?" It was someone in the village who was meant to be my landlord, and so they said no. Basically they said no. Now the situation was supposed to be documented. Nothing ever happened. So I said, "Oh, I no longer feel safe here. I'm gonna go take a little vacation." Well, it's technically illegal in peace terms language to leave the country without telling the Peace Corps. But I had friends in South Africa, and I was about to go hang out with them. Felt way safer with them. Well, said friends were the sons of Mugabe, which is arguably the dictator of that was a Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Yeah.
The longstanding president, I think 24 years or something of Zimbabwe, and they were close friends of mine. There was about to be the coup that ended up happening in Zimbabwe, and so their mom, I was hanging out with them. They had booked me my own hotel room, and their mom said, "Hey, lay low because dad is under fire." Young boys in college did not lay low, going out partying and everything. To speed up the conversation, mom flew in from Zimbabwe down to South Africa. Mom came in and disrupted everything. What do you guys do? Everybody was like, just being 20-year-olds, having a good time. And yeah, she came in and there was a bunch of Secret Service men with her, and then she looked at me and she grabbed a glass bottle, and hit me with it. I said, what did I do? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do none of that that's going on. But she thought for some reason, because I'm American, that I was
infected their mind.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the perception. So she hit me, and then I run upstairs to my room. I'm like, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. So I call what I thought was 911. So I called the equivalent to 911, and they said, oh no, you have to call the ambulance. You need an ambulance? You can't call the police. You need an ambulance. Call the ambulance, and they said, oh no, you're with Grace Mugabe. We want nothing to do with her. She has diplomatic immunity. So I'm like, well, I got it. At this point, I'm like, there's a lot of blood. And I'm like, well, I got to do something. So I call an Uber. Again, to speed up the story, basically the Secret Servicemen were looking for us, and I couldn't get out. I called the U.S. Embassy, the ambassador. Again, it was like 2 a.m. at this point, but I called him, and he hung up on me. He said, "Stop playing on my phone." Isn't that what they're there for? So I got my grievances there, but I ended up calling Peace Corps, and essentially called them. They came and got me. They snuck me out. The next day they said, hey, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go home. I don't know what this woman is trying to do to me, even though it's my friend's mom. And they said, do you want to press charges? I said, no, because it's also my friend's mom. And they said, okay, well, you're going to go home. So they forced me to quit. So essentially I got kicked out.
And you went back to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and then the next week I went back to South Africa to hang out with them again. I was 20, y'all. I was 20.
Some 20 years. So where's let's get on the path to
I was
being the herbalist.
Right. So I was in Mozambique, and I was more interested in the herbs that they were using because they couldn't afford medication. So when I got home, I started to explore I started just playing around, just juicing a bit more, just getting curious about my health. I then transitioned to full on vegan because I was vegetarian from 16, but then around 20 something, I became vegan. And then my stepmom had gone to, years before, had gone to Dr. Sebi's village, met him, reversed the diabetes that she had in her. She's like, Tiara, I really think that you should go down there and study. Dr. Sebi had transitioned by this time, but she was like, he has a wonderful crew down there. So I went down, and I kind of was like to the chef, like, you want to train me? And I kind of was like to the herbalist, you want to train me? And so I organized it that way. And so I went down there for just like a general detox.
Where's Dr. Sebi's village?
In Honduras.
In Honduras, okay.
So I went down there, built the connections, and then a few months later moved down there, learned how to identify herbs in the forest, learned how to cook alkaline foods, learned how to help people reverse schizophrenia, high blood pressure, diabetes, HSV. I mean, you name it. I was down there in the mud, figuring it out.
So fundamentally, you're a student of Dr. Sebi's.
Yeah, because it was his niece and nephew that trained me. So, and he trained them. So I guess.
No, it's true. It's facts.
Maybe, yeah.
What is endometriosis?
Endometriosis. Yeah, that's one that women are also experiencing. So it's the fibroids, PCOS, and endometriosis. Endometriosis affects the endometrial lining, the lining of the womb. Seafood is a culprit of endometriosis. Endometriosis affects women's ability to go to work and function in everyday life because they have such severe pain in their body that debilitates them. Endometriosis is caused from a number of different things. Abortions can cause endometriosis, and improper abortion. What else? Diet, of course, can cause endometriosis, and stress.
What are the symptoms?
Symptoms are debilitating pain, periods for prolonged periods of time, menstruals for prolonged periods of time. I'm talking months at a time, irregular period, um, heavy bleeding, so it's just discomfort. The hormones are hijacked.
Why is this such an issue now?
Now you
Again,
know.
my aunties, I don't
They
I
weren't
would
getting it.
listen to when I was a kid, my aunties would talk about, but I never heard of whatever it is.
Endometriosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now
So
you know what I'm going to say.
diet.
Yes. All of this comes back to diet and stress, our lifestyles. The quality of life in America versus the quality of life in other countries, way different. We are doing too much to our bodies. We're overworking it. We're hijacking our our hormones. We're just tearing them up by things. Women are getting it because they are, could be. Do I want to go there?
Please.
Ozempic. Uh, surgeries. We're just disrupting our hormones. We're disrupting our body's flow.
So this is a hormone thing here.
Yes.
Why has infertility
Mm-hmm.
risen?
Yeah.
Because we're not having many babies,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many friends of mine who can't have babies.
Yeah. All of these. It's the fibroids that are blocking physically blocking a woman to be able to stay pregnant. It's the PCOS that's blocking her ability to get pregnant. It is the stress. It is the endometriosis. It's all of these things. It's all of these things. And those things derive from diet and stress. It all comes back to diet and stress.
Diet and stress. So my last question on this one, because we're going to move on, high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you address it?
Love it. I love talking about this, and I love helping people reverse this because they always see beautiful numbers once they change their diet and once they add water in. So high blood pressure is can be caused and can be linked to stress, can be linked to diet again, and in order to reverse this, we reverse those two things, right? So we manage our mental health. Whether any type, you were asking me earlier what I did to address trauma and stress, whatever you need to do to let it out, to get it out of the body. There is stagnant energy in the body that is causing friction, that is causing tension, that is causing that trauma to stay in the body. Anything you need to do, play a sport, kickboxing, cognitive therapy, behavioral therapy, anything you need to get it out, journaling. Black men, we don't think that.
But the high blood pressure is it a buildup of plaque in the streams?
Could be. Yeah. Yeah. So high blood pressure is essentially a resistance, right? So what's happening is a huge resistance over time. And that resistance can be alleviated simply. One of the things, dehydration is a contributing factor, right? So we're allowing the blood to properly flow. So I heard, we can look into this to see if it's true, but a doctor once told me every single person with high blood pressure is dehydrated. Every single person. So that means you're not getting enough water. That's how important water is to your diet. Stress. It's a energetically, it's a buildup of stress. Physically, terrible diet. It's the blood is not able to flow properly to the heart, to, anywhere that it needs to go. So changing your lifestyle looks like just moving a bit more, eating cleaner. The oils that we're using are a contributing factor too. The processed oils that we get when we're eating out, or when we even think we're eating at healthier spots, but maybe they're also not using a good oil. The overuse of salt, the overuse of sugar, consuming more liquids. Pomegranate is so great. Hibiscus is so great. Red things are great for the heart.
So the essence of this discussion, if I can sum it all up, is diet.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's why I'm a nutritionist.
You're on a mission to visit every country on earth. How's it going?
So great. Alhamdulillah.
How far are you?
I am on country number 72.
And how many countries in the world?
So I am visiting every country and every disputed territory because I respect those two and I acknowledge those two. So there are different numbers. We'll just say 196.
You go to cold countries too?
In the summer. So I'm having a Euro summer this summer.
You're very amazing.
Thanks.
So what is your long-term goal? Because you're
Yeah,
very intentional.
I am. I am. I would love to. I would say it's not even a long-term goal. It's the next big step for me. And what I'm planning to do right now is opening up a space for people to come to me. So in the past, I've worked with many people, and I've gone to them in their homes, anyone from celebrities to presidents to people in the villages. I've gone to their home and they welcome me into their home, and I'm seeing what they're doing day to day and helping them rearrange. I would love a space for people to come to me into my home, wherever I choose to do it, which you know where.
Tell the people.
Are they ready to know?
Absolutely.
Malaysia. So inshallah, I'm going to open up a healing space in Malaysia where people can come and receive all types of beautiful healing. Yeah.
All right. So anyone that wants to get in touch with you, I'm her manager. That's a joke. I'm not a manager.
You getting 10%?
No. So managers get 20.
Oh, is it?
But no, but seriously, I'm not her manager. Seriously. Look in this camera and tell people how they can get in touch with you, because I want you to get some business going.
So the Instagram page, if you're on Instagram, is Heal with Tiara. HEAL with WITH Tiara. TIARA. The website is healingwithtiara.com. Healingwithtiara.com.
This has been a very enlightening conversation, and I'm very happy for your friendship because you've helped me in so many ways.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you want to say to our people before we call it a day?
Yeah, just take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself. Some societies are not centered around taking care of you. Just remember to love on yourself. The way you can care about your body is making sure you get your water in, making sure that you're doing resets when necessary, flood in the body with the beautiful nutrients that it needs to provide good balance for you. Take care of yourself. Have a nice outlet, whether you go into a rage room, whether you're going to therapy, whether you're venting to a friend. Give yourself those opportunities to release. Give yourself those opportunities to take in lots of nutrients. See the world. It's a beautiful place. It's not as scary as we think. I've been to the quote unquote scariest places that we were shown as a child in America, and they are the loveliest people. They are wonderful. They are safe. I'm a single black woman traveling, Muslim woman traveling this globe, and the unsafest I've ever felt was in my own country.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How is your dean coming?
Oh, alhamdulillah. So good. So good. I'm learning Arabic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm falling more and more in love with Islam and Allah every single day.
Well, I don't tell you this enough. I really appreciate you.
course.
I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you
Likewise.
coming here to Qatar,
Yep.
us meeting here. It's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for making sure that this worked. Thank you for all that you do on the podcast and highlighting people's voices and helping people live healthier, and the exposure is so beautiful. So continue on, brother.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. All right, the Oasis, all the way from Qatar, one of my favorite places on earth. We'll be doing more from this country. So until next time, it's your brother Haqq Islam. Assalamu alaikum.